The big room was full of noise. Alien voices mixed together like water rushing over rocks. Ambassador Jinha sat in his small chair near the back wall. No one looked at him. No one ever did. The Galactic Council meeting room was huge. It could hold thousands of beings. Giant windows showed the stars outside. But Jinha only cared about one thing today. He had to listen. He had to watch. He had to remember everything. "The motion is clear," said Speaker Veltar. Her blue skin glowed under the bright lights. She was from the Etherian race. They looked like living crystals. "The Vorthak Empire wants to expand their territory." War Prime Geltar stood up. He was big, very big. His gray skin had scars all over it. His red eyes looked at the other council members, but he did not look at Jinha. "We need more space," Geltar said. His voice was deep like thunder. "We need more resources. We need better star routes for our ships." Other aliens nodded. The collective sent 3 beings to speak as one voice. They moved together like dancers. The ancient Kronari just sat still. They were so old that some people said they were there when the first stars were born. "Where do you want to expand?" asked Speaker Veltar. Geltar smiled. It was not a nice smile. "The small area near the galaxy edge. The humans call it their space." He laughed. Such a tiny area for such a weak race. More laughter filled the room. Jinha did not move. He kept his face calm. Inside, his heart was beating fast. "The human sector has good mining worlds," said a collective member. "And the star routes go to 3 different spiral arms." "Yes," Geltar said. "We can take it all in one season. Maybe less." Speaker Veltar looked around the room. "Does anyone object to this expansion?" Jinha stood up slowly. The room got quiet for just a moment. Then the laughter started again. "The human wants to speak," someone said. "How cute," said another voice. "Let him talk," Geltar said. "I want to hear what he says before we take his worlds." Jinha walked to the center of the room. His steps echoed in the big space. He was not tall like Geltar. He was not glowing like the Etherians. He looked normal. Human normal. "I am Ambassador Jinha of the Human Federation," he said. His voice was clear but not loud. "I speak for all human worlds and all human people." "Get on with it," Geltar said. Jinha looked at each alien face in the room, then he spoke very slowly, very clearly. "No one enters human space without invitation. This is not a threat. This is a fact." The room exploded with laughter. Even the ancient Kronari made soft hissing sounds that might have been amusement. "A fact?" Geltar stepped forward. "Human, your entire race has been in space for what? 300 years? We have been traveling the stars for 10,000 years. "That is correct," Jinha said. "Your biggest warship has maybe 50 guns. My smallest scout ship has 200. That is also correct. Your entire military has maybe 1,000 ships. I have 2,000 ships just in my home fleet." Jinha nodded. "Your numbers are accurate." Geltar spread his big arms wide. "Then how can you stand there and tell me I cannot take your space?" "Because," Jinha said, "you do not understand what you are trying to take." The laughter got louder. Someone threw a small object at Jinha. It bounced off his shoulder. He did not look to see what it was. "Enlighten us, human," said Speaker Veltar. Her voice had mockery in it. "What makes human space so special?" Jinha was quiet for a long moment. The room slowly got silent again. Everyone wanted to hear his answer. "Other races expand to find new homes," Jinha said. "Others expand to find resources. Others expand because they need more space for their people." He paused. "Humans expand because we choose to. We take space and make it ours not because we need it, but because we decide it belongs to us. When something belongs to humans, we do not give it back." "Pretty words," Geltar said. "But words do not stop warships." "You are right," Jinha said. "Words do not stop warships, but humans do not fight with just words. Then what do you fight with? Asked a collective member. Jinha looked at Geltar. Their eyes met across the room. For just a second, the big alien looked uncertain. We fight with everything, Jinha said. Every rock, every scrap of metal, every breath in our bodies, every thought in our heads. When humans fight, we do not fight to win battles. We fight to win wars. And we do not stop fighting until the war is over. Brave words from a weak race, Geltar said. But his voice was not as confident now. I have given you the warning, Jinha said. What you do with it is your choice. He turned around and walked back to his chair. The room stayed quiet until he sat down. Then the alien started talking again. But the laughter was not as loud as before. Speaker Veltar called for a vote. Every alien race voted yes. Only Jinha voted no. The motion passed easily. The Vorthak Empire may expand into human space, Speaker Veltar announced. This meeting is finished. The aliens began to leave. They talked and laughed as they walked out. But some of them looked back at Jinha. He was still sitting in his small chair. He was not moving. Geltar walked past Jinha on his way out. He stopped next to the human's chair. I will make it quick, Geltar said quietly. Your people will not suffer long. Jinha looked up at the big alien. You should have listened to the warning. What warning could possibly matter now? The one I am about to send home. Geltar frowned. What message? Jinha pulled out a small device. It was his communication link to Earth. He typed 3 words. Storm is coming. Then he added 3 more words. Activate Prometheus protocols. He sent the message. Geltar read the words over Jinha's shoulder. What is Prometheus protocols? Jinha put the device away. He stood up and looked at Geltar one more time. You will find out, Jinha said. Everyone will find out. He walked out of the room. Behind him, Geltar stood still. For the first time in many years, the War Prime felt something he did not like. He felt worry. In the cold space between stars, the message traveled faster than light. It jumped from relay to relay. It passed through empty space and around bright suns. On Earth, in a deep bunker under the mountains, computers received the message. Lights started blinking red. Alarms began to ring. The storm was coming. And humanity was about to show the galaxy why nobody enters human space uninvited, not if they want to come back. 6 months had passed since the Galactic Council meeting. Captain Harin stood on the bridge of Defense Station Alpha. Through the big window, she could see the planet New Busan spinning below. It looked peaceful, green and blue, with white clouds floating over the surface. 50 million humans lived on that planet. They had farms and cities. They had families and dreams. Harin was going to protect them all. Captain, said Lieutenant Kim at the sensor station, something is coming. Harin walked over to look at the screen. Small dots appeared at the edge of the system, then more dots, then even more. How many ships? Harin asked. Still counting, Captain. Maybe 1,000. Maybe more. Harin nodded. She had been expecting this. All human commanders had been expecting this since Jinha sent his message from the Galactic Council. Send the signal, she said. Code Red Phoenix. All stations, all ships, all ground forces. The message went out across the system. On mining stations and cargo ships, humans got ready. On the planet's surface, defense guns turned toward the sky. In hidden bunkers, soldiers checked their weapons. The Vorthak fleet came closer. Harin could see them better now on the main screen. Their ships were big and dark. They had thick armor and many guns. Each ship was 3 times bigger than any human ship. Captain, said Communications Officer Park, the enemy fleet is sending a message. Put it on speakers. A deep voice filled the bridge. Harin recognized it. War Prime Geltar. Humans of New Busan, the voice said. This is War Prime Geltar of the Vorthak Empire. Your system now belongs to us. Surrender now and we will let your people live as workers. Fight us and we will destroy everything. Harin picked up the communication device. This is Captain Harin, commander of New Busan Defense. You are not welcome in human space. Leave now. Geltar laughed. The sound was not nice. Little human, look at your sensors. Count my ships, then count yours. Harin looked at her tactical officer. He held up 10 fingers, then made a 0 with his hand. 100 human ships in the system, against 2,000 Vorthak ships. I can count, Harin said into the communicator. Can you? What do you mean? Count the things you cannot see, Harin said. Then she turned off the communication. The Vorthak fleet moved forward. They came in perfect formation. Their ships were beautiful in a deadly way. Harin had studied Vorthak tactics for months. They liked to show their power. They liked to make enemies afraid before fighting. All ships, Harin said into her command communicator. Remember the plan. We are not trying to win today. We are trying to learn. The first Vorthak ships entered the asteroid belt around New Busan. The belt had thousands of big rocks floating in space. It also had mining stations and cargo platforms. The Vorthaks ignored them. They thought the rocks and stations were not important. They were wrong. Now, Harin said quietly, every asteroid in the belt suddenly showed teeth. Hidden weapon. Platforms opened fire. Cargo containers exploded, sending clouds of metal pieces toward the Vorthak ships. Mining stations that looked empty were full of missiles. The whole asteroid belt became a weapon. Vorthak ships started exploding. Their shields could stop normal weapons, but they had never seen anything like this. The humans had turned space junk into bullets. They had made every rock into a bomb. First blood to us, said the tactical officer. But Harin was not celebrating. She was watching her screens very carefully. Every time a Vorthak ship fired back, she recorded it. Every time their shields blocked an attack, she measured it. Every tactical move they made, she studied. Send all data to the research stations, she ordered. Real time, everything. The asteroid belt battle lasted 2 hours. The humans destroyed 50 Vorthak ships, but the Vorthaks destroyed all the human weapon platforms in the belt, and they learned to avoid the tricks. They adapt fast, said Lieutenant Kim. So do we, Harin replied. Faster. The main Vorthak fleet moved past the asteroid belt. Now they could see Defense Station Alpha and the 100 human warships protecting it. Geltar's voice came over the communicator again. Clever tricks, humans. But tricks only work once. Now you face real warships. Then come and face real humans, Harin said back. The battle for New Busan began. The human ships were smaller and faster than the Vorthak ships, but the Vorthak ships had better weapons and stronger shields. In a normal fight, the humans would lose quickly. This was not a normal fight. Harin's ships did not fight like other races fought. They did not line up and shoot at each other. Instead, they moved like angry wasps. They attacked from all sides. They used the planet's gravity to speed up and slow down. They hid behind moons and space stations. Most importantly, they made the Vorthaks work for every victory, Captain, said the weapons officer. The enemy is using plasma cannons with a charge rate of 4 seconds. Their shield generators reset every 12 seconds after taking heavy damage. Good, Harin said. Send the data to command. What else? Their ships turn slowly. Big ships need 30 seconds to change direction completely. Small ships need 10 seconds. Excellent. What about their armor? Thick on the front and sides, thinner on the back and bottom. And Captain, they have a weak spot. Harin looked at her weapons officer. Show me. On the screen, a Vorthak ship appeared. Red lines showed its weak points. There was one spot near the back where the armor was very thin. If we hit that spot with enough power, the weapons officer said, we can kill ships much bigger than ours. Harin finished. Send that data to all ships. Now. The battle went on for 3 days. The humans fought smart, but they were still outnumbered. One by one, human ships were destroyed. But every time a human ship died, it took 2 or 3 Vorthak ships with it. And every time the Vorthaks used a new weapon or tactic, the humans learned from it. The data flowed to research stations throughout human space. Scientists and engineers watched the battle and took notes. On the third day, Defense Station Alpha was badly damaged. Half the human ships were gone. The planet's surface defenses were mostly destroyed. Harin stood on her bridge. Smoke filled the air. Half her crew was hurt, but she was still sending data back to Earth. "Captain," said Lieutenant Kim. His face was bloody, but he was still at his station. "The enemy is demanding surrender again." Harin looked at New Busan through the broken window. The planet was still beautiful, still blue and green, but now there were fires on the surface where Vorthak bombs had hit. She picked up the communicator. "One last time. War Prime Geltar, this is Captain Harin. I have a message for you." "Your surrender?" Geltar asked. "No. A gift." "What gift?" Harin smiled. "You wanted to see what humans fight with. You wanted to learn about us. Congratulations. You learned that we do not give up. You learned that we make every bullet count. You learned that we turn everything into a weapon." She paused. "But most importantly, you learned that we are very good students, and we just spent 3 days studying you." The communication went silent. Then Geltar's voice came back. It sounded different now, worried. "What do you mean?" "Check your casualty reports, War Prime. How many ships have you lost? How many soldiers? Was this easy victory worth the price?" Harin knew the numbers. The Vorthaks had won, but they had paid dearly. They lost 300 ships taking one human system. They lost thousands of soldiers, and they had shown the humans all their secrets. "This is just one system," Geltar said. "You have dozens of worlds." "Yes," Harin said, "and each one will cost you more than this one did. Because we learn, and we share what we learn." The defense station's power was failing. Harin's last message was sent automatically to every human world. Complete tactical analysis of Vorthaki. Fleet. Weaknesses identified. Countermeasures developed. Share with all commands. New Busan fell that day, but the Vorthak Empire had just made a terrible mistake. They had given humanity their first real look at alien military technology, and humans were very fast learners. In a secret facility on Earth, Chief Engineer Kwan received the battle data. He looked at the information for a long time. Then he smiled and called his team. "Gentlemen," he said, "we have work to do." The real war was about to begin. 3 months after New Busan fell, War Prime Geltar sat in his command ship and looked at reports. They were not good reports. 12 human worlds had fallen to his fleet. 12 victories. But something was wrong. Very wrong. "Tell me about the supply convoy again," Geltar said to his aide. "Sir, Convoy Delta 7 left the captured world of New Seoul 3 days ago. 50 cargo ships with food and fuel for our forward bases. They never arrived." "Pirates?" "No, sir. No distress signals, no wreckage. The ships just disappeared." Geltar's red eyes narrowed. "What about Outpost Gamma 3? "Also gone, sir. 300 soldiers. The base was there in the morning. By evening, nothing but empty buildings. Enemy attack. No signs of battle, sir. The soldiers were just gone. Their weapons were still in the armory. Their food was still warm." Geltar stood up and walked to the big window. Outside, stars moved slowly past. Somewhere out there, humans were doing things he did not understand. "And the equipment problems?" His aide looked at a data pad. "Getting worse, sir. Weapon systems failing during routine checks. Shield generators shutting down for no reason. Life support systems needing constant repairs. Have the engineers found the cause?" "They say it looks like normal wear and tear, sir, but happening much faster than normal." Geltar turned around. "Faster how?" "Parts that should last for years are breaking in weeks. Metal that should be strong is becoming weak. It is like our ships are aging very quickly." On the bridge of the human warship New Hope, Admiral Rex looked at his senior officers. The meeting room was small and simple, not like the fancy Galactic Council chambers. But the people in this room were about to change the galaxy. "Status report," Rex said. Captain Harin, now recovered from her injuries at New Busan, stood first. "Stealth operations are working perfectly, Admiral. We have teams on all 12 captured worlds. The Vorthax cannot find us, and we are learning everything about how they operate. Good. What about their equipment failures? Chief Engineer Kwan smiled. The nanobots are working better than we hoped, Admiral. Every piece of Vorthak equipment we captured at New Busan had the nanobots hidden inside. When they took our technology back to their ships, they spread the nanobots throughout their entire fleet. Explain it in simple words, Rex said. The nanobots are tiny machines, smaller than dust. They get into Vorthak equipment and make small changes. Not big enough to notice right away. But over time, the changes add up. Metal gets weak. Circuits stop working, engines run poorly. Admiral Rex nodded. How long before their fleet is seriously affected? Maybe 2 more months, Admiral, maybe less. Excellent. Rex looked at his tactical officer. What about our new weapons? The hybrid technology is ready for testing, sir. We have taken everything we learned from the Vorthak ships and made it better. Our new plasma cannons charge in 2 seconds instead of 4. Our new shields reset in 6 seconds instead of 12. And our ships? The tactical officer smiled. Our ships are going to surprise them. Rex stood up and walked to a large screen on the wall. It showed a map of human space. Red areas showed worlds controlled by the Vorthax. Blue areas showed worlds still free. Gentlemen, Rex said, we are not just going to take back our worlds. We are going to teach the galaxy something important. What is that, sir? Asked Haran. We are going to show them what happens when you make humans angry. On the captured world of New Sol, Supply Officer Talkar was having a bad day. A very bad day. First, half his food storage units had stopped working overnight. Now the food was rotting and he had 3,000 soldiers to feed. Second, the communication array kept losing signal. He could barely talk to the main fleet. Third, and most worrying, soldiers kept reporting strange things. Voices in empty hallways, shadows that moved when no one was there, equipment that worked fine one day and broke the next. Sir, said his assistant, there is another problem. Talkar did not want to hear about another problem. What now? The human prisoners, sir. They are acting strange. Strange how? They keep smiling, sir. Even the ones in punishment cells. They smile and they whisper to each other. And sometimes they look at us like they know something we do not know. Talkar felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Double the guards on the prison levels. Yes, sir. But, sir, what if the guards do not want to go there anymore? What do you mean? Some of our soldiers are saying the prison levels are haunted, sir. They say human ghosts walk the halls at night. Talkar knew there were no such things as ghosts. But his soldiers were afraid. Afraid soldiers made mistakes, and he was starting to think that everything going wrong was not just bad luck. In a hidden cave 20 miles from New Sol's main city, human resistance leader Jin Ho smiled as he listened to radio reports. The Vorthax were starting to understand that conquering human worlds was not the same as controlling them. His team had been very busy for 3 months. They did not attack the Vorthak soldiers directly. That would have been stupid. Instead, they did small things. They put strange substances in the water that made Vorthak food taste bad. They played recordings of human voices in empty buildings, at night. They programmed lights to flicker in patterns that looked like codes. Most importantly, they had taught the human prisoners to act like they knew secrets. Big secrets. Important secrets. Secrets that would help humans win the war. The Vorthax did not know that the secrets did not exist, but they were starting to worry about what the humans might be planning. Fear was a weapon, and humans were very good at using fear. Back on his command ship, War Prime Geltar got a message that made his blood run cold. Sir, his communication officer said, we are receiving a transmission from Earth. Put it on the main screen. The screen showed a simple room. A human male in a military uniform sat at a metal desk. He looked directly at the camera. I am Admiral Rex of the Human Defense Fleet, the man said. His voice was calm and steady. This message is for War Prime Geltar. Geltar stepped closer to the screen. How did they get this frequency? War Prime, Admiral Rex continued. You have spent 3 months learning about human space. You have conquered 12 worlds. You have defeated our fleets. You think you understand us now. The Admiral paused. You are wrong. Rex leaned forward in his chair. You see, War Prime, you made one big mistake. You thought fighting humans would be like fighting other races. You thought we would use the same tactics, the same strategies, the same weapons. Another pause. But humans do not fight like other races. We do not just adapt to our enemies. We become better than our enemies. Every weapon you used against us, we have improved. Every tactic you showed us, we have perfected. Every advantage you had, we have taken away. The Admiral stood up. You wanted to see what humans are capable of when we are angry? Congratulations. You are about to find out. The transmission ended. The screen went black. Geltar stared at the empty screen for a long time. Around him, his bridge crew was very quiet. No one wanted to speak. Finally, Geltar turned to his tactical officer. Status of the fleet? Sir, we have lost nearly 400 ships to equipment failures and mysterious disappearances. Morale is low. Our soldiers are reporting strange events on all occupied worlds, and sir, what? Long-range sensors are detecting human ships moving toward our positions. Many human ships, more than we have ever seen before. Geltar looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, humans were coming, and for the first time since the invasion began, he was not sure his fleet could stop them. Send a message to all commanders, he said quietly. Prepare for battle, and may the ancient gods help us all. The real war was about to begin, and the humans were no longer running away. Dr. Jake Morrison stood in front of the biggest screen he had ever seen. The screen showed blueprints of a starship. But this was not a normal starship. This ship was built from human dreams and Vorthak nightmares. Project Hercules is ready, he said to the group of military leaders behind him. We have taken everything we learned from the enemy and made it into something they have never seen before. Admiral Rex stepped closer to the screen. Show me what it can do. Jake touched. The screen and the blueprint changed. Now it showed weapon systems. The main guns can fire every second instead of every 4 seconds. The plasma is 3 times hotter than Vorthak plasma. One shot from our main gun can destroy their biggest warship. What about defense? Asked Captain Harin. Our shields are invisible to their sensors. They cannot see us coming until we start shooting. And when they do hit us, our armor repairs itself. Chief Engineer Kwan smiled. The nanobots again? Better than nanobots, Jake said. Living metal. The ship actually heals its own wounds like a human body heals cuts. Admiral Rex looked at the specifications on the screen. How many ships do we have? 50 ships ready now. 100 more ships will be ready in 2 weeks. Against how many Vorthak ships? Our best guess is 1,600 still working. The nanobots have destroyed about 400 ships so far. Rex nodded. Still 10 to 1 against us. Yes, sir. But these are not normal ships. Admiral Rex turned to face his officers. Gentlemen, we are not just going to attack the Vorthaks. We are going to send a message to the entire galaxy. What message, sir? Asked Harin. That humans do, not just fight to survive. We fight to prove something. We fight to show the universe what we choose to be. 3 days later, the human fleet moved toward New Busan, the first world the Vorthaks had taken. The world where Captain Harin had made her stand and gathered the intelligence that started humanity's comeback. War Prime Geltar watched his sensors as 50 strange ships approached his fleet of 300 vessels guarding New Busan. The human ships looked different, sleeker, more dangerous. But they were still outnumbered 6 to 1. This should be easy, said his tactical officer. Geltar was not so sure. He had learned not to underestimate humans. Battle stations, all ships prepare for combat. The human fleet spread out as it approached. Instead of forming a battle line like normal fleets, they moved like hunters stalking prey. Sir, said the sensor operator, something is wrong with our readings. The human ships keep disappearing and reappearing on our screens. Sensor malfunction? No, sir. I think they have some kind of new stealth technology. Geltar felt that old worry growing in his stomach again. Open a channel to the human fleet. The communication screen showed Admiral Rex sitting calmly on his bridge. Behind him, human officers worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. Admiral Rex, Geltar said, you are outnumbered. Surrender now, and I will let your people live. Rex smiled. It was not a friendly smile. War Prime, you have been in our space for 6 months. You have conquered our worlds. You have killed our people. You have learned much about humans in that time. Yes, I have learned you are stubborn and difficult to kill. You have learned more than that, Rex said. You have learned that humans do something no other race does. What is that? We get better. The communication ended. A moment later, the human ships opened fire. Geltar had been in many space battles. He had fought against every major race in the galaxy, but he had never seen anything like this. The human weapons were impossibly fast and incredibly powerful. Vorthak ships that should have been able to survive dozens of hits were destroyed by single shots. The human plasma burned through Vorthak armor like it was made of paper. But the weapons were not the most frightening thing. The most frightening thing was how the humans fought. Sir, his tactical officer called out. They are not aiming to disable our ships. They are aiming to kill everyone on board. What do you mean? Every shot is targeted at crew areas, sir. They want no survivors. Geltar watched his ships die one by one. But something else was happening. Something that confused him. Sir, the humans are sending shuttles to our destroyed ships. To loot them? No, sir. To rescue survivors. Geltar could not understand this. The humans were shooting to kill, but then saving the people they had just tried to kill. Admiral Rex's voice came over the communication channel again. War Prime, do you see what we are doing? You are confusing me. We are showing you something. We fight harder than you do. Our weapons are better than yours. Our ships are faster and stronger. But we also save your people when the fighting is over. Why? Because that is what humans choose to be. We can kill better than anyone in the galaxy. But we choose to heal as well. The battle lasted only 2 hours. 300 Vorthak ships were destroyed or disabled. 50 human ships were barely scratched. It was not a battle. It was a demonstration. But the real surprise came after the fighting ended. Human medical ships arrived and began treating wounded Vorthaks. Human engineers worked to repair disabled Vorthak vessels. Human soldiers shared their food with Vorthak prisoners. War Prime Geltar, rescued from his destroyed command ship, sat in a human medical bay getting his wounds treated. A human doctor worked on his broken arm with gentle hands. Why are you helping me? Geltar asked. The doctor looked up. She was young and had kind eyes. Because you are hurt. That is reason enough. But I am your enemy. The fighting is over, she said. Now you are just someone who needs help. Admiral Rex entered the medical bay. He sat down next to Geltar's bed. I do not understand you humans, Geltar said. What do you want to understand? You could have killed me. You could have killed all my people. Your weapons are powerful enough. Why did you not do it? Rex was quiet for a moment. Tell me, War Prime, why did you invade human space? We needed resources, we needed territory. No, that is not the real reason. Geltar thought about this. We invaded because we could, because we were stronger. And what did that prove? That we were stronger. But you were not stronger, Rex said. You were just bigger. There is a difference. I do not understand. Rex stood up and walked to the window. Outside, human ships were helping repair Vorthak vessels. Human and Vorthak crews worked together. Strength is not about how much damage you can do, Rex said. Real strength is about choosing not to do damage when you could. Real strength is about building instead of destroying. But you did destroy. You destroyed 300 of my ships. Yes, because sometimes you have to destroy the bad things before you can build the good things. But we only destroyed your weapons, War Prime. We saved your people. Geltar looked around the medical bay. Vorthak soldiers were lying in beds next to human soldiers. Human doctors treated everyone the same way. What happens now? Geltar asked. Now you have a choice, Rex said. You can keep fighting us. If you do that, we will destroy every ship you send to human space, and we will save every person on those ships. What is the other choice? You can join us. Join you to do what? Rex turned back from the window. To show the galaxy that there is a better way to be strong. To prove that the strongest people are the ones who choose to help instead of hurt. Outside the medical bay, human and Vorthak engineers worked together to repair ships. They shared tools and knowledge. They laughed at each other's jokes even though they spoke different languages. War Prime Geltar watched them and felt something he had never felt before. Something that made his chest feel warm and his eyes feel wet. He felt hope. Admiral Rex, he said quietly. Yes? I think I am beginning to understand what makes humans dangerous. What is that? You do not just fight to win, you fight to make things better. That is why you cannot be defeated. Rex smiled. Now you are learning. The tide of the war had turned. But more than that, the tide of the galaxy was about to change. Because humans had shown that there was a difference between being powerful and being strong. And everyone was about to learn which one mattered more. 1 year later, Ambassador Jinha walked into the Galactic Council chambers again. But everything had changed. The same big room, the same giant windows showing stars. But now when Jinha entered, every alien in the room stood up. Every voice got quiet. Every eye looked at him with something that had not been there before. Respect. Jinha walked to the center of the room. Behind him walked War Prime Geltar. The big Vorthak warrior wore new armor. Human-made armor. On his chest was a symbol that had never been seen before in the galaxy, the symbol of the Human Alliance. Honored council members, Jinha said. His voice was the same calm voice from a year ago, but now everyone listened. I come before you today not as a representative of humanity alone. I come as a voice for all people who choose to build instead of destroy. Speaker Veltar, the crystal-skinned Etherian, leaned forward. Ambassador Jinha, we have heard strange reports from your space, reports that the war between humans and Vorthaks is over, but no one surrendered. That is correct, Jinha said. No one surrendered because no one lost. How is that possible? Asked a collective member. Because we changed what it means to win. Geltar stepped forward. When he spoke, his voice was different than before. Softer, more thoughtful. Honored Council, Geltar said. I came to human space as a conqueror. I brought 2,000 ships. I had the best weapons in the galaxy. I thought I would win easily. But you lost, said Speaker Veltar. No, Geltar said. I learned. The room buzzed with confused whispers. Jinha raised his hand and the noise stopped. The war taught us something important, Jinha said. Fighting to take things from others makes you weaker. Fighting to protect what you love makes you stronger. But fighting to help others become better makes you unstoppable. On the big screen behind Jinha, images appeared. They showed human and Vorthak crews working together. They showed mixed fleets of ships patrolling the galaxy. They showed alien children playing together on human worlds. The Human Alliance is not about humans ruling over others, Jinha continued. It is about all of us choosing to be better than we were before. An ancient Chronari spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. What do you want from this council? Nothing, Jinha said. We want to give something to this council. What? A choice. Admiral Rex appeared on the communication screen. Behind him, the bridge of his ship was busy with activity. But now the crew was not just human. Vorthaks worked alongside humans. Other aliens, too. all wearing the same uniform, all working toward the same goal. Honored council members, Rex said, for too long this galaxy has been divided. Strong races take from weak races. Big empires conquer small worlds. Everyone fights everyone else for resources and territory. That is the natural order, said a collective member. No, Rex said firmly. That is the easy order. The natural order is working together to make life better for everyone. Images flashed on the screen. Human medical ships healing plague victims on distant worlds. Mixed engineering teams building new cities. Human teachers sharing knowledge with alien students. We offer you membership in the Human Alliance, Rex continued. Not as subjects, not as conquered peoples, as partners, as friends. And if we refuse? Asked Speaker Veltar. Rex's expression did not change. Then you refuse. We will not force anyone to join us, but we will also not allow anyone to hurt others. If you choose to be conquerors, you will find that the galaxy has new protectors. The screen changed again. This time it showed the Human Alliance fleet. Thousands of ships, human ships with their living metal hulls, Vorthak ships with their powerful weapons, ships from dozens of other races who had chosen to join the Alliance. We are no longer the small human territory you ignored a year ago, Rex said. We are everyone who believes that helping others makes us all stronger. Chief Engineer Quan appeared next to Rex on the screen. We have shared our technology with every Alliance member, Quan said. The healing nanobots that can repair any injury, the living metal that makes ships stronger, the plasma weapons that can defend against any threat. But most importantly, we have shared the idea that technology should help people, not hurt them. Dr. Jake Morrison stepped into view. Every world in the Alliance now has hospitals that can cure diseases thought incurable. Every ship has weapons that can protect the innocent. Every person has the knowledge they need to build a better life for their children. The council members looked at each other. Some seemed interested, others seemed worried. A few seemed angry. You speak of protection and helping others, said a harsh voice from the back of the room. But you conquered the Vorthak Empire. You destroyed thousands of ships. War Prime Geltar answered before any human could speak. No one conquered us. We were defeated in battle, yes, but then something happened that had never happened to us before. What? The humans helped us become better than we were. They showed us that strength is not about taking from others. Real strength is about giving to others. Geltar walked to the center of the room. Every alien watched him carefully. I came to human space as a destroyer, he said. I left as a builder. My people were warriors who lived only to conquer. Now we are warriors who live to protect. The humans did not change us by force. They changed us by example. And if other races choose to continue the old ways? Asked Speaker Veltar. Jinha smiled. It was not a threatening smile, but it was not entirely friendly either. Then they will discover what the Vorthaks discovered, that humans do not fight like other races. We do not fight to conquer territory, we do not fight for resources. We fight for principles. What principles? That every thinking being has the right to be safe, that every world should be free to choose its own path, that no one should be forced to bow to anyone else. Jinha paused and looked around the room. And that anyone who tries to hurt the innocent will find out why the galaxy learned to fear the name human. The room was very quiet. Outside the windows, stars moved slowly in their eternal dance. But inside the chamber, everyone understood that the galaxy had changed forever. Speaker Veltar stood up slowly. The council will vote on your proposal. Of course, Jinha said. But remember this. We are not asking you to join us because we need you. We are asking you to join us because you need to decide who you want to be. The vote was close. Very close. But it passed. One by one, the great races of the galaxy chose to join the Human Alliance. Not because they were afraid of human weapons, not because they were forced to, because they wanted to be part of something better. 5 years later, Dr. Jake Morrison sat in his laboratory on Earth. He was working on his final project, not a weapon, not a shield, something more important. He was writing the history of the war. But he was not calling it a war anymore. He was calling it the Great Learning. In his final entry, he wrote, "Other species evolved to survive in their environment. Humans evolved to change their environment to match their dreams. When we dreamed of a galaxy where everyone could be safe and free, we did not just dream. We built that galaxy. The secret was never our technology or our tactics. The secret was that we refused to accept that things had to stay the way they were. We believed that everyone, even our enemies, could choose to be better. And when we gave them that choice, most of them chose to be better. Today, the galaxy is not ruled by the strongest race. It is guided by the best ideas. Human space is no longer just the territory marked on our star charts. Human space is anywhere that people choose to help instead of hurt. Anywhere that people choose to build instead of destroy. And that space grows larger every day." Jake Morrison saved his file and looked out his window. In the sky above Earth, ships from 100 worlds flew together in peaceful formations. Children who had been born on distant stars played in Earth's parks. Aliens and humans worked side by side to explore new worlds and cure old diseases. The galaxy had not forgotten humanity's name. It had learned what that name really meant, and it had chosen to make that meaning their own.